top 6 MVP candidates, all quarterbacks. Mahomes in the driver's seat to take home his 3rd MVP, and right behind him is C.J. Stroud. How about that? He's moved up in the ranks considerably.
Oh, look at much maligned, always unfairly criticized Josh Allen.
And then Jordan Love and Lamar. So here's the interesting thing, and I had Josh pull this up, because we all love CJ on this show, but I asked him to make a sophomore slump graphic of notable rookie seasons. Herbert went down a little bit in passer rating, but not much. Baker went down considerably, and he always had a lot of coaching turnover. Dak had a stellar rookie season and came back to earth. So, Greg, do you think the hype around Stroud is too high and he might fall victim to a sophomore slump?
No, the hype is not too high. Not at all too high. Like this guy, we're talking about a guy who came in the league, obviously 2nd overall pick. But what did he have around him that we knew of?
I mean, now we know Nico Collins.
Now we know.
But that's correct.
Now we know
that's
Nico
right.
Collins.
Yeah.
He
rookie.
told the organization, you know what, I want this guy, Tank Dell, bring him in with me, and he made it work. He delivered. We haven't seen that. We've seen guys go to situations and they bring in guys where we kind of know those guys, or bring in veteran guys and pieces.
Or Herbert, who walked in with
He walked
Allen
into a
and
great
Mike
situation
Williams.
offensively. But this guy, he made it happen himself. And so now you look at this team, they have tremendous depth offensively. Your tight end, depth at running back, obviously depth at receiver. You add Stefon Diggs. And then defensively what they were able to do. Like, I love everything that they've done surrounding this young man with a ton of talent, understanding we have a guy that we can strike right now with. So we have to support him with what he needs. I think he's going to deliver, because that's all we've known him to do. Sell me on anything other than that, and I'm not buying it.
Yeah, so there's an odd narrative around some corners of football, internet, Twitter, that I hate on AFC quarterbacks aren't Patrick Mahomes. Now, that is belied by my record on Trevor Lawrence and my record on Joe Burrow. It's kind of buttressed, I guess, because of some of the criticisms I've had with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Cut this tape for me, please, Hub, so I can send it to the next person that accuses me of that. Because I agree with Greg 100%. I don't think the hype's high enough. I think C.J. Stroud is a great bet to win league MVP this year. I think C.J. Stroud is the model to all of a sudden compete for a championship, which is quarterback that is ready immediately, the team recognizes it, adds a bunch of resources, spends the money, brings in a guy like Diggs, who at least for a year I think will be a good fit, drafts well, it seems like they hit on the coach and says, you know what? We have a $60 million asset that we're paying $5 million to. Let's use that extra $55 million to add talent. And so, yeah, I mean, the way to win MVP in this league is to play quarterback, have your team win at least a dozen games, you know what I mean, and be a top seed. I think all of that's and obviously have great numbers. All of that's on the board for CJ. And even though, CJ's in the Slowick offense, was kind of the Shanahan offense, they weren't, to my eye, Fugazi numbers. He was throwing deep over the middle. He was making hard passes. He also has a great system, and they didn't lose Slowick. So I love the talent. I think there's a world that exists where at the end of this season, there are people that say he's the second best quarterback in football.
I've already been in that world.
You think he's second
best quarterback?
I've been saying that since last year.
Since last year? No, last year, well, who was the best? Because I know last year you didn't be closer.
Well, so if you and I started driving across country, you, me, and Greg, and I'm in L.A.,
save it for the
and you're in Chicago, and Greg is in the suburbs of Chicago,
save it for
you're
the
like,
segment.
it's close.
We're on the tees.
It's Mahomes catching Brady, no. But right now, Aaron Rodgers back at camp and reiterating his Super Bowl bubble teams a few weeks ago, months ago maybe. He said there was 8 to 12 teams that could win it. That's I call it the Rodgers range. And he did it again the other day. Take a listen.
It has to be the goal. I mean, the beauty is every single year there's 8 to 12 teams maybe, probably less, but 8 to 12 teams that could actually do it. And we're one of those 8 to 12.
Okay. So we stole a segment from Colin, to be honest with you. It's Colin's Super Bowl bubble that he did today. In the middle there are, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Make sure the
8.
audience knows who we're talking about.
Colin Cowherd?
Yeah, Colin Cowherd.
Why? Who do you?
I just want to make sure the audience knows.
You don't know who Colin Cowherd is. He's world famous. So those are the bubble in the middle, and then.
Why does Colin have the Niners dead center middle and not the two-time defending champs?
Doesn't go
no, but I do think middle means something.
Do you?
Like a bullseye.
It's kind of like left or right on
nucleus.
pyramid.
Yeah, Nick's nucleus. We should have stole it. We should have.
Oh, sorry. In any event, that's Colin's bubble, so we stole it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do our own Aaron Rodgers-esque 8 to 12 teams. We're going to start with Greg Jennings. Greg, let's see Greg's Super Bowl bubble with your 8 teams, and then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get a little spicy.
Again, middle. That's
think that's the
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean,
All right, go ahead.
it's just
That's
the
fine.
graphic team. But you see my teams. I got the Lions, Jets. Yes, I have the Jets. I'm buying into the hype. The Philadelphia Eagles, the Bengals, the Green Bay Packers, who I absolutely love. Obviously, the Texans, who I love. Got the 49ers. We'll breeze right over the Kansas City Chiefs. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And then my outer, got the Baltimore Ravens, got the Dallas Cowboys, and these two on the left. I'm telling you, I'm pretty high on the Bears. If Caleb Williams can be a guy,
Drunk?
I'm drunk.
the Bears can be a scary team and have a shot.
That's correct. That's
And
a good
the
take.
Browns-
Explain the Browns.
The Browns, Deshaun Watson started to get a little hot.
No, he's not.
He started to get a little hot, then he got injured. They were looking good. If he
So
can,
you-
if
I'm
he can
just trying to-
rekindle a little bit of that and build on it.
So you don't have any AFC. Oh, you have the Jets.
I have the
but no
Jets.
Bills or Dolphins.
No Bills, no Dolphins.
I'm trying to see
Do you
if
think
there's.
that Caleb Williams can win the Super Bowl as a rookie?
With the team that they have around him right now, the defense, I love their defense. Offensively, they got a ton of weapons. If he can strike, it's kind of like that C.J. Stroud last year model. We'll see.
But I don't think the Texans could have won the Super Bowl.
They're my fringe. They're on.
I know, but even for fringe, they're on my fringe. Even as suppose Caleb was great, it's hard for me to believe that when you go up against a seasoned defensive coordinator with 2 weeks to prepare just the Super Bowl, and you would have had 19 games to watch a rookie, that you can't expose some flaws in a rookie QB.
But literally 2 years ago, you thought it was. I'm not saying you were picking it. You thought it was possible a rookie quarterback was going to win the Super Bowl and Brock Purdy. Because the team was like they were in the going into that weekend's NFC title game. You weren't like the Niners are eliminated.
Completely ruined your
but
whole
no, by the way, and to be fair, I don't even think Wilds picked the Niners in that game. But I'm saying like nobody was saying in that moment the Niners are out because they have a rookie quarterback. Nobody and by the way,
what was their big weakness?
the Niners.
Yeah.
I think quarterback play.
Okay, here we go.
But that's not why they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Back.
I mean, no, what happened to them? I mean, they would have lost to the Chiefs anyway. But in that game, he got hurt. But I also
Rookie shoulder.
The Chiefs could have easily won the Super Bowl the first year Mahomes started. Like, would you feel the Bears?
Yeah, but I'm talking about true rookie.
Right, but you really think there's but your analysis of like 19 weeks of film, all that, you think there's a big difference? Like, so if Caleb sat all year, never played,
could he win
and
next
then
year?
next year you'd be okay with this?
Yeah, I'd feel a little bit better.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, brand new. Walking
No,
into
it's- I mean,
I think
it's
it's
never
insulting
happened.
to defensive. Yeah, if it's never happened, I mean, it feels like 100% right.
I mean, okay. I mean, Big Ben, his first year got to the AFC title
Yeah, I
game.
don't care about that.
The-
Yeah, close.
Yeah, well, they're on the bubble. I'm defending Greg. I think Greg's right. Now, I think a lot of this other stuff's crazy, but I think Greg's right.
All right, now it's your turn to go.
It's my turn? Okay.
I like
All
the
right.
Browns, by the way, but
All right, so why are the Bengals in the middle of mine?
hey, buddy,
Who is
has
setting
nothing
this
to
up?
do with the middle.
I don't like.
your favorite.
I got to tell you, the bullseye, dead center. What are we talking about? All right. So I thought that. So I have the Bears even closer to the middle, and as you're going to see, I have for a lot of these teams, perceived great quarterback bias. So the Bills are going to be in that center in the bubble because they do, for all his flaws, have clearly a top 5 quarterback. The Texans have clearly a top 5 quarterback. I shouldn't say clearly a top 5 quarterback, could have a top 5 quarterback. The Niners have the best 2 through 53 roster in the NFL. The Rams, I think, are way underrated. Now, the loss of Aaron Donald's enormous, obviously, but I love their draft, and I love what they showed last year after the rough start. The Bengals are getting a great quarterback back, and the Chiefs and Lions, it speaks for themselves. And the Bears were a 7-win team last year that once they added Montez Sweat, were a good defense. They then add Rome Odunze, add Keenan Allen. On the outside of the bubble is the Cowboys and the Ravens, out of respect for what they've been over the last few seasons. The Packers for what they were building in the final half of last year. And again, great quarterback bias. Jacksonville Jaguars, I think it's on the board. Trevor has the year that I thought he was going to have last year, and I think he was en route to having before he got hurt. So to me, there is ties go to teams with excellent quarterbacks. And so that for me, the teams that maybe surprise people that I don't have on there are the Jets and the Eagles. And I just don't trust the I don't trust the coaching staff of either of those teams. And I have questions about the quarterback of both of those teams. So that's where I'm at for those.
So your Jags, you're that high on Trevor that Trevor can get it done?
Well, I'm as high on Trevor as I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a great player. I think Trevor Lawrence.
I only ask this because you're basing most of yours around the quarterback.
Yeah.
Mine is not just solely based on the quarterback. It's like the team. So, even with the Jets, I'm not at all saying that Aaron Rodgers is going to just be the MVP and he's going to have a fantastic year. What I'm saying is he's going to
love their roster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love their roster, and he's going to be good enough to help them get over that hump. The Jags?
Yeah, so I know that I am in the minority here. But to me, Trevor's career makes total sense, which is star collegiate player thrown into the fire year one for a train wreck of an organization, has a rough year one that at the end shows flashes. By the end of year two, looks like a no doubt already top 10 quarterback, executes one of the greatest comebacks in postseason history, loses to the champ. Builds on that momentum the very next year, has his team around Thanksgiving playing for the 1 seed at 8-3 on Monday Night Football, suffers a terrible injury, then 2 more terrible injuries, and shockingly, the season fell apart when the guy who'd been carrying them got hurt. That's how I look at Trevor's career. Everyone else looks at it like there was some Freaky Friday situation happening for his whole college career and his second year in the league, and who he was his rookie year, and at the end of last year is who he really is. It's not how I look at it. So yeah, I think that player could be excellent. He has to prove it, but I still believe in him. So yeah, that's why they're
also the highest paid quarterback in the league. So yeah, I think he's got to be in Super Bowl bubble. All right.
Well, the guy whose record he broke, I think, is Justin Herbert, who's not on mine or Greg's.
Yeah, he's not on mine either, I don't think.
Yeah.
All right, so my Super Bowl bubble. Now, you might be saying, there's a lot of changes in there. Well, here's why. Have you ever heard the expression, pretty good quarterbacks who should be ascending win championships? No. What you hear is a phrase that I invented at this point 2 years ago now, Josh. Defense wins championships. Okay. These are some of the best defensive teams, plus Vic Fangio's Eagles. So I gave them a fresh start. But I believe in all of these teams' defense, plus a little quarterback. Now, you might be saying, Kevin, I went to NFL.com, and just like you did, and I hit points per game descending. And at number 12 was the Jets. Why aren't the Jets in there? Well, I replaced them with the Eagles. That's why. Because I believe in Vic Fangio, and I'm not.
Wait, is this really just the 12 best defenses minus the Jets?
No, because I added the Dolphins.
I was going to say, what's the Dolphins argument?
I like Mike McDaniel, and I love Tua. Do I love Tua?
You just said your whole thing was about defense.
Yeah, or the number one passing yards too. Because it's passing league too. I'm going to be a Dolphins guy. You know that. I believe in the Browns defense. I believe it, and then we're all the same. And I added the Bucs in there.
You guys are way too high on the Eagles.
Why? Do you like Vic Fangio? Do you think Vic Fangio is good? Of course you do.
No. What do you mean?
You don't like Vic Fangio?
I did 10 years ago.
AJ.
Hold on. Wilds. No, it's not about being ageist, but the Dolphins couldn't wait to get rid of him.
Well, the players didn't like Fangio.
Well, that matters.
Yeah.
That matters.
It does.
The Philadelphia Eagles had literally one of the worst collapses in NFL history. Don't you dare say supernatural funk.
I'm not going to say
That is-
supernatural funk.
What are you going to say?
I'm going to say Jalen Hurts was hurt.
Okay,
And he
you
played.
just gave that
Just
same
like Trevor
thing
Lawrence
with
did.
Trevor Lawrence.
He wasn't hurt enough to not play. He didn't say anything. Just like Trevor Lawrence. He fought through injury, but Trevor Lawrence gets wow, they lost because he's hurt. But Jalen Hurts didn't say a word. It's like, Jalen, are you hurt? He's like, I don't care if I'm hurt, I'm here.
But that's not why that's not what happened to them. Their quarterback play didn't fall off the map. They had a horrifying defense for a lot
I got
of the
Vic Fangio.
No, wait a second. They had a horrifying defense for most of the year, and then an unspeakably, unplayably bad defense by the end of it. And then we saw them in a playoff game. The only team I've ever seen in my life in a playoff game, it's like, oh, wait, they don't want to be there.
Yeah,
they quit
funk.
immediately. And like I said, don't say supernatural funk. And no one has explained to me why that's going to be fixed. No one has explained it.
I would argue their quarterback play did fall off because we were in the first half of the season, we were saying, oh, he is the definition of Mr. Clutch. It didn't matter what situation they were in. Jalen Hurts found a way to finally end the game with the win.
When did Jalen get hurt and what was his injury?
His shoulder was hurt.
When?
He was hurt.
When did he get hurt and what was
we don't know.
his shoulder? I thought it was his knee.
little bit
What
both.
was
We
it?
don't know.
Because with Trevor, I can tell you the moment. It was the moment they tried to cart him off the field, but they didn't have a cart. And everyone was mad at Jacksonville for a
You're talking
week
about
for not having a
organizational
cart.
incompetence.
That's
They didn't have a
fine.
cart.
Well, that part's true.
And then throwing his
I just, the
throwing his
Eagles,
head coach under
everyone
the bus.
acting like the Eagles. Who threw their head coach under the bus?
Trevor.
But, okay. Everybody acting like the Eagles are just going to be fine is baffling to me. It's baffling.
But if you got a new defensive coordinator,
They tried that during the year, right?
no, they got Matt Patricia.
No, hold on. Was it offense or defensive coordinator that during? It was defensive coordinator
Yes.
during the year.
Yes, Matt Patricia came in.
Well, he was already there, right?
Yeah.
They
But you
demoted
gave
the
him a
one
little
guy
bit
and wouldn't let him
more
do it.
juice.
I mean, they switched both
Okay,
coordinators.
We just talked about the Eagles a few days ago about how Nick Sirianni can't even pick his staff, about how he's still working on a relationship with Jalen Hurts. It's a topic Hubs wanted to put in the show right here, but we didn't. And so we're doing it now
Saquon's
anyway.
leadership.
And now I just
Saquon's
it's baffling to me.
leadership
It's
and
baffling.
Jalen.
Okay,
and
we